Welcome everybody to the GamersGrove podcast, episode 3. Today is Monday, February 19th. I am your host, Will, here with my co-hosts, Austin.
Hey, how you doing?
And Brady.
Hello, hello.
Hello, guys. What you been up to this last week?
Actually visited you, Will.
That is true.
I went down south with some family. We live in California, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was a nice surprise. Brady came with his brother and we hung out. I got to show him the horrors of Hollywood and
Oh boy.
lovely tourism sites that it holds. What about you, Austin? What'd you do?
I had a 4-day weekend actually, so I kind of just cranked out a lot of hours on Kingdom Come. So
Nice.
hopefully give you guys a little bit of info on that later.
Yeah. I had an awful weekend because Black Panther came out, and so my movie theater was swamped with people.
God.
It made record-breaking numbers, and everybody on the management team decided to lowball it, so we were grossly understaffed. It was fun, but that might contribute to me not having as many things to say this week. But anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into it like we always do. Austin, I'm going to start with you this time. What games have you been playing this week?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm playing a lot of Kingdom Come. That was a Friday. Before that, I was just playing my normal, FPS games, PUBg and
routine.
Fortnite. But really enjoying Kingdom Come. It's really excited to talk about it.
Yeah, tell us about it. What is it?
So basically, you start out as a blacksmith's son. So it's set in the Holy Roman Empire in the 1400s. Ooh. Basically, the Emperor Charles IV dies. His son Wenceslas takes over the throne. He's doing a crappy job. His half-brother, son of Hungary, comes in, decides to kidnap the king, and that's kind of where you start out. You're living amongst all this. And yeah, tragedy befalls you, and you're thrown into the world of the 1400s.
Nice. Well,
I think it's.
Oh, go ahead, Brad.
Just say I think it's kind of cool how you don't all these other games. You always start out like the son of a king or like some like secret superpower or something.
Exactly.
It's like nope, like you're nothing.
Yeah, this game's really humbling because you're literally just a peasant and no one cares about you. You have no money, no gold, no weapon, and you really can't even read or anything. So it's kind of interesting.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of humbling.
I could dig that. Is it like Skyrim? Like, is it an open world RPG or like,
yes.
Or is it more linear? Like, what kind of game is it?
Well, it's story driven open world RPG. So there is if you follow the main story, you kind of get to explore the open world. You can, of course, after a certain point in the story, you can take off and do your own thing, but you really get more out of the game, I think, if you follow the main few quest lines at least, because like they teach you to fight and all this other stuff. Like if you just run out there in the world right away, no training whatsoever, you're not going to do very well. You're going to get your butt kicked and die.
So there is like side quests and stuff you can do.
Oh yeah, there's tons of side quests.
Okay.
That you can, those are good to make money and stuff like that, and different types of skills. Like there's a kind of like a thievery side quest. You can learn about all those sketchy dealings, and yeah, that's really the only, I guess, larger side quest I've done so far.
Okay. Something I saw from everybody talking about it lately, but also like dev blogs way back in the day, it seems to be, you kind of mentioned it too, like it's really grounded in like a lot of realism. How is that? Like, I know there's some like castles and like real castles, I guess, that they designed some of their castles in game off of.
Yeah, so the first main city you see in the game is Rate, I believe that's how you say it. And that looks almost identical to the modern day city. So these are real cities, it's a real place. It takes place in, the 1400s, but it's all more or less history.
That is cool.
And as far as realism game mechanic wise, for example, you can't read books until you learn to read from a scribe.
Oh, that's
You
Wow.
can't swim. I haven't figured out how to swim yet. I think someone may teach you, but can't swim. And the combat's pretty realistic. It kind of reminds me of Chivalry in a way.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
It's a little
classic.
less ambiguous, so it kind of gives you more, I guess, structure to attack with. You're not just kind of trying to figure it out yourself.
Right.
But for more or less,
Charging.
it's pretty hard. I'm still finding myself getting my
That's
ass
cool.
kicked a lot, but
Yeah, I.
Is it?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just say, has it been visually pleasing? Because the screenshots look great and everything else I've seen.
yeah. So
But sometimes it's like a Ubisoft looks a little different.
yeah, it's really pretty. On max settings, I'm running a 980 Ti in my system, and I'm getting about 60 FPS.
Solid.
In cities,
Ooh.
it drops down below that, but I mean, it's such a beautiful game. There's minor graphical clipping errors and stuff, but that stuff will get patched out, and I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
But the other day, I was just running through a forest, and it was just like, I don't know, it was really entertaining just to
Relaxing?
walk through. Yeah, and relaxing just to walk through the environment.
That's cool. I like that. It looks rad. I remember that, like, there has been some complaints of like optimization issues and stuff, but they have said that
Oh yeah.
there's a patch coming out for that soon, like within the next week, I believe now. So
Yeah, I'm
and
not.
that was like, it's nice that that was really the only complaint most sites seem to have, and so that's getting fixed soon. So we might have the perfect RPG on our hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of potential.
And then once the modding community picks up all that, it'll be
That's actually funny.
endless possibilities.
A lot of mods are being made already to fix kind of, I guess, to create handicaps for the game, because things like the lock
It's
picking
too hard.
system are too hard for people. So there's tons of mods out there being downloaded already for these things, and I don't know. I like that it's difficult. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. But I know a lot of people just want to enjoy a game when they play it. They don't want to get frustrated. So I could see why those
Yeah,
mods
fair
are
enough.
used.
Yeah, I can see both sides to it. I think it'll be fun to when I finally do get to play it, to like experience it how it's meant to be, but I guarantee that I'm gonna be one of those guys who installs all those little baby handicap mods.
Is is it the map big at all, or is it comparable to Skyrim or one of those other games?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if it's
Like size
I
wise.
can't give you like a direct answer in comparison to Skyrim's map size, but it is. I don't feel like it's too small. I haven't made it from one side to the other yet. I'm still exploring a corner of it.
Do they show you the whole map, or like what's there?
So they show you a whole map. The way they do it is it's like got really cool art. It's like, there's like little peasants on the corners of your maps and stuff. It's in that old like Renaissance style art, and the map is just clouds for areas you haven't explored yet.
Oh, okay.
And there's little angels on them. It's also, I should mention, there's a lot of talk of God in this, because it is the Holy Roman Empire. So
True.
everyone's
I didn't
saying
think
God
about that.
praise and all that. So
You can't have medieval history without, the good old church ruling everything.
right, kind of throws me
Okay,
off.
well then.
Sorry, kind of throws me off when I talk to traders and stuff, because they'll just yell like Jesus Christ and then be praised afterwards, and I think they're gonna say something sarcastic, but yeah. Anyways,
You don't go dissing God in the medieval era,
Mm-mm.
man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so what's your favorite bit about it so far? What's your favorite thing to do?
I think just how challenging it is. Everything really.
Okay.
That's also probably a lot of reasons why people don't like it. But personally, I just like to be challenged in games, and it's nice to have an RPG that really makes you think when you're doing stuff.
Yeah,
Doesn't hold your hand.
that is cool. I definitely got to see both sides of you in that a good maybe hour ago, when you were talking to me about how cool and awesome the challenge is in the game, and then 5 minutes later you're like, all right, forget it, I'm done with this game, it's too hard.
Yeah.
So it's all there.
Is the story like, are there different options you could pick that will affect the outcome of the story?
Yeah, there is. For example, in the beginning, I'm not gonna try and give away spoilers, but in the beginning, something's gonna happen to someone you're running past when you're running away from the tragedy that befalls you, and
Mhm.
you can either save that person or not save that person. And depending on what you choose to do later on in the game, your I guess relationship with that person will be different, and the dialogue and stuff. So
Okay.
you'll find
Interesting.
things popping up way later in the story that you didn't expect to actually affect anything.
That's always cool. I like that. It
Yeah.
helps make a world feel more alive when they do little
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And like it feel like your world.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. Well, to go from there, I have been playing a whole lot of Crossing Souls this last week. To give you we've seen the sort of AAA side now. I'll jump over to indie.
Yeah.
Crossing Souls is like a action adventure game with some puzzles, platforming, a little bit of side scrolling combat. You know, typical indies. They kind of give you a little taste of everything. But it's cool. It's like a little 80s love child almost. I've sunk about a good 5 or 6 hours in at this point. I'm digging it. It's really fun. I hope it gets more exposure. I'm sure it will. It is being published by Devolver Digital, but
yeah, definitely.
you know, everybody loves them. But it's really cool. I'm enjoying it so far, but we'll see how it goes.
How's the soundtrack for it? Got some cool 80s tunes on it?
It's yeah, oh yeah. They straight up say that, you know, they take some John Williams inspirations, and it's a lot of 80s synth pop stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's they got it all. You know, they covered every possible thing they could when it came to the 80s checklist.
Is it like story heavy, or is it more kind of just
Oh, it's
shoot 'em up?
It's it's definitely all about like story. It's in that regard, it's very linear. It's, you know, you just go from point A to point B, and then there's like people you can talk to along the way that'll give you this little like flavor text, but it is all story. You know, it's you go here, dialogue, you know, maybe a little fight or some puzzles or platforming, and then more story. It's definitely a completely story-driven game, though.
So do you play
Awesome.
as a character you create, or is there a character set already?
You play as well, the main character you play. There is a main character. His name's Matt. He's like the leader of your gang of kids, but you do play as all 5 of the kids in the group.
Oh, cool.
And that's actually one of the cooler things about it. You can't play them all at the same time, but you can switch between them at any point, and each one of them has different moves and abilities. I guess like classes in a way, you know. And so like mid-fight, you can switch out between them. They all have their own little health bars and everything. So like if one's about to die, you could jump over to another and keep the fight going with them. So that's really cool. It's also they integrate it into the puzzles as well. It's not just combat. Like certain ones can jump, others move really heavy objects. You know, other characters can kind of dash across little barriers, things of that nature.
That sounds pretty cool. I love games that do that. Like
Awesome.
Tale of Two Brothers kind of comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
They each have to do different things to solve a puzzle.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
one that was coming to mind for me. It's an older game. Things on Xbox 360. It was called like Kameo.
Cameo.
I don't think
Yeah,
I've played
I may
that.
have the name wrong, but yeah, something similar like that, where it's kind of fantasy world and open world, and you just kind of have different characters you can morph into. Really random, but
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That's interesting.
yeah, the name might be wrong. I'll put in the description the correct name.
Yeah, when we find it.
Is it Cameo with a K?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think so.
I kind of remember that game. It was on the 360.
Yeah,
okay.
360
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I don't really remember it too much.
back
though.
in the day.
You know, one thing I noticed coming into my mind though about the game, it is longer than I expected. I mean, I know I did say I've only put 5 hours into it so far, but it is one of those kind of games that you think is like a little short and sweet type of game. And it does seem like I'm kind of getting towards the end, but I could also see it going on for quite a bit longer. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing yet. The combat is, well, it can, you know, you can make it exciting by just jumping around from character to character as you're doing your fights. they all sort of do the same stuff for in a sense, and it doesn't really evolve much from when you first like start combat, you know. Like other games, you know, say you get more abilities as time goes on and different ways to fight. This one's just kind of like, you know, you have your baseball bat, you swing it, you hit guys, you punch them, and that's about it. And so it's starting to feel a little bit stale. Like the charm is nice and it's keeping me interested still, and at this point I am invested in the story, so I want to see how it plays out. But it's almost becoming like, all right, let's get through this combat, or let's get through the platforming so I can just get to the next part of the story, which is too bad. I mean, I guess if anything, it seems like they invested a lot of their time into the whole 80s vibe and the story, and they did nail it there. Like, I mean, I'm not an 80s child, so I don't get a lot of the references, but they're there. You know, I've read like a lot of articles that are talking about all the references that people have seen in Crossing Souls, so it's out there. You know, they did their research. But yeah, I'm worried that by the end of it, I'll have like a thank God it's over kind of thought, which would make me a little sad.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Well, I get one last thing I forgot to mention about it. It has little cutscenes. Brady saw it a bit when I was live streaming it the first day. It looks, I think I saw somebody say it looks a lot like Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Which is a really good fit because it's really cool. They're very short, but they happen semi-frequently. Just like little quick animations of the characters like running from, you know, the bad guys or walking through the woods, things like that. And it's really cool. It's a nice like style to add to make it feel more alive and vibrant throughout the game.
For those who don't know, Brave Little Toaster is like a older animation.
Yes, an older movie. But if you look at Brave Little Toaster and see how the art and animation is, it's very much like that. Though honestly, that is taking away from all the detail in the sprites and the artwork, and I honestly like the sprites more. They're you can add a lot of detail into pixel art. You know, people tend to forget or just don't take it seriously because it's pixel art, but it looks great. You know, pixel art, like this one in particular.
Best graphics.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like they put a lot of love and care into the pixel artwork just as much as they did the animation. And I love looking at the characters and their little pixely sprite forms more than their animated forms, honestly.
It's probably just because it's something new too, you know. Animation is, well, everywhere.
Yeah, that is true.
You don't see that much pixel stuff anymore.
That's true. Well, that's on as far as games we've played goes. That's really all we have covered. Brady stated he was kind of out of town, so he didn't have too much time to do stuff.
Busy week.
Yeah. But with all that, we will jump into the news, and something I mentioned last week. We're going to talk about the D.I.C.E Awards. I did kind of lie to you, though. I said that we were going to go very in-depth into each category, but as stated, we all got fairly busy in life.
Yeah.
So we're still going to go over each category, and we'll say the category, list the nominees, and say what we would like, you know, what our pick for the category is for the winner. From there, you know, we may go a bit more in depth with some of the categories, but there is like 24 of them, so we're not gonna go into all of it. And then I will have a link, as always, links in the description to the nominee page, and I believe the D.I.C.E Summit, which is when they're gonna actually say the winners, it's gonna be 2 days from Wednesday when you guys will be hearing this. I think
it's on Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday. It'll be the day after we upload this.
And if you want to watch, IGN is like covering the whole thing, like on all their platforms.
Yes, you can online. Also, if you want to just see it on Twitter, I think the hashtag is DICE 18 or DICE Awards 18. And they're like kind of live tweeting the coverage and all that stuff. So there's quite a few places you can check it out, and we'll say something about it too afterwards on the next podcast. Without further ado, though, let's jump into it. The first category is Outstanding Achievement in Animation, and the 5 nominees are Cuphead, For Honor, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. What do you guys have to pick for the winner?
Cuphead, easily. It just, something totally unique in a video game, like the drawing and 2D animation.
What about you, Austin?
I gotta go with Cuphead too. I mean, it looks like Felix the cat, and I love that.
Yes.
I love that animation. So,
and it's also Cuphead from me. Yeah, there's really, if you guys haven't seen Cuphead, it's like Austin said, it's like Felix the cat. They hand drew every single frame in the game. It's just amazingly animated. They've been working on that game for 5 years plus. It's like, I think it was just 2 guys working on it. So they hit it out of the park with it. The next category is Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction. And the nominees are Cuphead, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Horizon Zero Dawn, Little Nightmares, and Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Brady, what you got?
I think I'm gonna go with Zelda on this one. Cuphead, great art, but it's more of an animation. But Legend of Zelda just looks so great, especially for being on like a handheld. Yeah, Zelda for me.
What you got, Austin?
I'm gonna go with Little Nightmares. The art style is super unique, and I just kind of like that.
Definitely.
That art style. It's kind of a creepier art style. You don't see too often.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of Tim Burton, so kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah, that is true. It gives off that kind of vibe. I like that. My pick is Breath of the Wild. Call me biased, but it looks amazing, and the art is beautifully consistent across the world. It's a wonderful looking game. I did actually have a bit of a toss-up. I was trying to decide between Little Nightmares and Breath of the Wild, because I do also love how Little Nightmares looks. It's just creepy, and they do it so perfectly. Category number 3 is Outstanding Achievement in Character. The 5 nominees are Assassin's Creed Origins, their main character being Bayek, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Senua being the main character, Horizon Zero Dawn, Aloy, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Eden Varisso, gotta love those Star Wars names, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy with Chloe Fraser. Brady, what'd you pick?
So considering I haven't played any of these games, I'm just gonna go with Horizon Zero Dawn because I know it has a good story and it looks like a cool game.
Fair enough. Austin?
Yeah, I haven't played any of these games either. It's pretty bad, but I don't know. Hellblade, I guess.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Yeah, so again, we're nowhere near professionals. We don't have time to play all these games. So sometimes we are just going to pick one out of the hat.
Yes.
So just take that from us. My pick is Chloe from Uncharted. It seems, honestly, to me, I have played all the Uncharted games, and it almost, in my opinion, seems unfair that they include her, because Chloe's been in the game since Uncharted 2, and this is now the 5th one in the series with her. So she's had way more character development, and she's a lot more rounded out than some of these other characters are. It just works out that way when you have that much game behind you. But that's my pick because that's the one I have played, and I do really dig Chloe.
Cool.
Next category is Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition, with the nominees being Call of Duty World War II, Cuphead, Horizon Zero Dawn, Rhyme, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Brady?
I'm actually gonna go with Rhyme. It's kind of more up and coming. I don't know if it's indie, but it's awesome game, good soundtrack. Rhyme.
All right. Awesome.
Wolfenstein 2, no doubt about it. I love their covers that they do for their releases.
Yeah, they make some great German versions of very popular songs.
Yeah.
I give it to them. It's very creative. I'm going with Cuphead. My buddy Josh, anytime I go to see him, he's always playing the Cuphead soundtrack, and it's for appropriate reason. It's got that great old school feel. It fits in with the game perfectly. It's very alive. It's very action packed. I nailed it. Next category is Outstanding Achievement in Sound Design. The nominees are Destiny 2, Injustice 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, lots of twos, Super Mario Odyssey, and Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Brady?
I'm going with Destiny 2. I know they've been getting a lot of hate lately, but their game looks so good, and the sounds are, just go with the game, the sci-fi world really well.
Fair enough. Awesome.
Gonna go with Star Wars Battlefront 2. D.I.C.E just knows how to make some crisp audio.
That is true. Yes. That is also my pick. As much as I hate Battlefront 2, I can't deny that they just nailed the Star Wars sound.
Yep.
I mean, they got access to the actual Star Wars vault, so they better have nailed it. But it's perfect. That's the best part about the game is their sound design.
Being the big Star Wars fan you are, I would hope that you chose that. So
I didn't want to. I hate
being
EA.
the EA hater you are. Yeah.
Next category is Outstanding Achievement in Story. Nominees are Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Horizon Zero Dawn, Night in the Woods, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Brady?
I didn't play Wolfenstein 2, but I'm going to pick Wolfenstein 2. I played the first one, and story was fantastic. And, continuing that, and, just the unique world they create around it. Good game.
All right. Austin, what you got?
I'm going to go with What Remains of Edith Finch. I didn't play this, but I watched a playthrough of it, and it was really interesting. I like those story kind of walk-along games, so...
Okay. Oh, it's like a walking sim thing?
Well, not exactly, but...
Okay. All right, fair enough. I picked Night in the Woods because that game spoke to me as a 21-year-old figuring his life out. That's basically what Night in the Woods is. With, it gets a bit more enticing than that, but that's kind of the basic premise you start off with, and they hit it, hit the nail on the head. It goes very well, and it is a very interesting story as it progresses. So that is my pick. Next off, oh yeah, you definitely should check it out. It's awesome. Next up is Outstanding Technical Achievement. The nominees are Assassin's Creed Origins, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Horizon Zero Dawn, Lone Echo / Echo Arena, and Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Brady?
Yeah, this one's kind of tough because I think Horizon Zero Dawn and Legend of Zelda are both technically great achievements. I'm gonna go with Zelda just because, like I said before, it's on the Switch, it's a handheld, and it looks just so good, and they just do everything so well with it. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn close second for me.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild for me as well, because open world Zelda, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What more do you need to say? I picked Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. This is I still want to play this game. Ever since it came out, it's been generating a lot of buzz. But it's, people say your sanity comes into play a lot into the game as it progresses. I'm not entirely sure what that means because I've only watched a little bit of gameplay, but from what I've read about it, it seems like they do that very, very well, and it's a very unique idea. So I felt that I had to give them the win there.
Yeah, Don't Starve.
Yeah. Next up is Action Game of the Year. Our nominees are Call of Duty World War II, Cuphead, Destiny 2, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus.
This is not a close one. I haven't played Call of Duty World War II, but it just bringing Call of Duty back, to boots on the ground and. I don't know. I'll go with PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Just I've actually played that, and I've had a lot of fun, playing with everyone, and it's a good,
it is a good action
game. Yeah, community game with an action. Yeah,
Yeah.
So PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Okay. Awesome.
I gotta go with Wolfenstein. I haven't played it myself, but like I said, another one of those situations I watched walkthrough of it, and just Tarantino in game form. You know what I mean? Like the action in it is and it's crazy. So yeah, that's definitely my choice.
I'm gonna also give my pick to Wolfenstein 2. Same boat. I haven't actually played Wolfenstein 2 yet, but I did play the first of the reboots, I guess, very very thoroughly. And people are saying it didn't really change from the first to the second. I think they nailed it, and it's nice to see that we're getting like a lot of those old school shooters back. You know, they run around, get a bunch of loot, just shoot at bad guys, and that's all you really need to do. Next up is Adventure Game of the Year. Our nominees are Assassin's Creed Origins, Horizon Zero Dawn, Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Brady?
Pretty much, same nominees as past 10 categories.
Yeah.
I'll go with Legend of Zelda on this one. Open world Zelda, like Austin said.
All right. Austin?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Breath of the Wild as well, mainly because that's the only one I've really played a lot of.
And it's same for me. Breath of the Wild. How could it not be Game of the Year? It's awesome. Next up is Family Game of the Year. We have Drop Mix, Nog, I guess it's Nog, Just Dance 2018, SingStar Celebration, and Snipper Clips. Brady?
My pick is Drop Mix just because of how ridiculous it is.
What is Drop Mix?
A multiplayer. It's like a multiplayer DJ game. And like I watched Cow Chop play it, and it was really funny watching them play it. But the game's just ridiculous. Like, come on.
All right. Austin?
Just Dance, because dancing.
It's fair enough. You can't beat that.
Great way to bring the family together.
Yeah.
My pick is Snipper Clips. This is I played a bit of it with Josh when he first got his Switch, and it's just a cute little like puzzle game. You literally like cut each other's player models to fit whatever shape you need. It's cute, it's fun, it's something the whole family can get into, so I feel like it nails the category. Next up, Fighting Game of the Year. We have ARMS, Injustice 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Needhog 2, and Tekken 7.
Haven't played any of them, but I have an Injustice poster right next to me, so let's go Injustice 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy the Injustice games just because you get to beat the hell out of each other as superheroes. So what's not to love about that?
Exactly. Injustice is also my pick. It's the guys who develop Mortal Kombat. They've been doing fighting games for a long time. They know what they're doing. So they get my pick. Next up is Racing Game of the Year. Dirt 4, Forza Motorsport 7, Gran Turismo Sport, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Project Cars 2. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, right. I've been a Gran Turismo fan like pretty much my whole life. I really enjoyed the past games, and I played them quite a lot, and I don't really play consoles much anymore. So I'm going to go with Gran Turismo Sport, and Dirt also a close second. I think that's also a fantastic series of racing games. Something different than, the usual stuff.
Okay. Austin, what you got?
I'm personally not really a racing game player, but Forza looks beautiful, and I've always been interested in trying it, so I guess I go with Forza.
All right. I am going with Mario Kart 8 because yeah. It's Mario Kart 8. Come on. Like how to go from loving to hating your friends in just a few minutes.
Yeah, right. Classic.
It's an awesome party game, so that's all I need. Next up, we have Role-Playing Game of the Year. Our nominees are Divinity Original Sin 2, Middle-earth Shadow of War, Nier Automata, Persona 5, and Torment Tides of Numera. Whatever.
My pick is by far Divinity Original Sins 2. You could do so much with that game. Just a sandbox mode, use it for D&D, just custom games. good game.
All right. Nice and simple. Austin?
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Didn't count. Came out this year.
I guess Divinity Original Sin. Same reasons. It's pretty awesome. I don't know. You
All
do well
right.
with it.
I spent a little bit of time going back and forth between Divinity and Nier Automata. Although people are saying Nier is a great game for other reasons other than its RPG elements. I can't really dive much into it because I don't really know because I haven't played it. So I picked Divinity Original Sin 2 as well. Next up, we have Sports Game of the Year with Everybody's Golf, FIFA 18, Golf Clash, Madden NFL 18, and MLB The Show 17.
Don't play sports games, but I like baseball, so MLB The Show.
All right. Awesome.
FIFA games are so fun. I'm not a big soccer fan or anything, but those games, like, they get heated. So FIFA.
I also like FIFA, but it's also EA, and I hear they're just as bad in their FIFA games as they are everything else. So I'm going to be a very biased judge and pick Everybody's Golf.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up is Strategy Simulation Game of the Year, with the nominees being Endless Space 2, Halo Wars 2, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Total War Warhammer 2, and XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. A lot of sequels. Brady, what you got?
Just something on the category. Is it like a strategy and simulation, or is it are they grouping strategy and simulation together? Because I mean, none of these are really simulation.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they say simulation. I just take they're all strategy games, so I figure they just mean strategy.
I don't know. It's close between Endless Space 2 and XCOM 2. I think I'll go with XCOM 2. Just first one. The other ones were good games, but I really like Space. Endless Space is fantastic. XCOM 2.
Okay, awesome.
I'm gonna go with Total Warhammer for no reason at all, other than looks
Total
really
War
fun,
and Warhammer.
and it's Total War.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I went with XCOM 2. I've sunk so much time into that game. How could I not pick it? It's so fun, and it's too good of a strategy game for me. I'm not smart enough to really play it to its fullest, but I enjoy it for the strategy nonetheless. Next up is Immersive Reality Technical Achievement with Lone Echo / Echo Arena, Robo Recall, Star Trek Bridge Crew, The Invisible Hours, and Wilson's Heart. Brady?
I haven't played any of these, but I've seen so many videos of the Star Trek Bridge Crew. I think it's pretty funny. So I'll go Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Okay, awesome.
Gonna go with Robo Recall. It uses Oculus, so I mean, it's like one of the few games that supports it.
Yeah,
cool.
Oculus has kind of been forgotten about, it seems like.
Yeah.
Except Skyrim for VR,
Yeah, that's
a
true.
thing now.
Yeah.
I guess.
Something.
I also picked Star Trek Bridge Crew just because it looks like a lot of fun if you got some friends I'll play it with. And, Star Trek, whatever. Next up, Immersive Reality Game of the Year with Lone Echo / Echo Arena, Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin, Robo Recall, Space Pirate Trainer, and Wilson's Heart.
Let's go with Psychonauts. I haven't played any of these, but I know Psychonauts, so.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, I played the first Psychonauts.
Yeah, close enough.
I went with Space Pirate Trainer because that just sounds awesome. What more is there need to be said?
Yeah,
whether it's a good VR game or not. Next up is the D.I.C.E Sprite Award, and we have everything. Goroga, I think that's how you say that.
Yeah, Gorogoa.
Gorogoa, there we go, sounds better. Night in the Woods, Pyre, and Snipper Clips. Brady?
Let's go Night in the Woods. Watch plenty of playthroughs of it. It's just a good game.
All right. Awesome.
I mean, I haven't played any of these. I can't give it a proper choice here. I'm gonna have to pass.
What name looks the coolest?
I mean, Night in the Woods looks cool. Now that you guys mention it, I'm looking at it.
All right.
There you go. I also pick Night in the Woods, not because it's the one I've played, but it's one of the few games that really, while I was playing it, I was like, holy crap, this game is beautiful. I have a ton of screenshots saved in my computer just because I couldn't stop taking them while I played through the game. It's a great looking game, and it's some lovely artwork. Next up is Handheld Game of the Year. We have Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King, Etrian Odyssey 5, Beyond the Myth, Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, Metroid Samus Returns, and Monster Hunter Stories.
My pick is definitely Metroid. Just a classic coming back.
There you go.
Yeah, I gotta roll with that too. Metroid.
Fair enough. I picked Fire Emblem just because, it's Fire Emblem. It's been around for a while, and they've done handheld before, so I figure they got a good hand on it at this point. Next up is Mobile Game of the Year. We have Cat Quest, Fire Emblem Heroes, Gorogoa, Monument Valley 2, and Splitter Critters.
My pick is Monument Valley 2. First game looked beautiful, and they continued that.
All right.
I hate to keep following Brady here, but Monument Valley 2, it's really fun. I really like the first one. I really like the second one. They just you can just sit there and, pop out a couple levels when you're waiting for something. It makes your mind work. It's just a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same for me, Monument Valley 2. The puzzles are awesome. It is a beautiful looking game. What's there not to love? It's the best. Come on. Next up is Outstanding Achievement in Online Gameplay. We have Call of Duty World War II, Destiny 2, Fortnite, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I think this is a really competitive, award.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Okay, so I think Destiny 2 kind of messed up with the community, so they're kind of out. And then Ghost Recon Wildlands, it's the Ubisoft, so they die pretty fast. But PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Fortnite, and World War II, really, competitive title to pick them. I'm going to go with Fortnite. Just because I think, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the cheating thing is just way too big. I like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds as a game better, but I think the experience in Fortnite is just more laid back and fun with your friends. And you don't, I don't know. I take PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds so much more seriously, than Fortnite. I don't know if it's because of the graphics or what, but I think Fortnite has online play pretty much down.
I would agree. Austin, what you got?
So if you would have asked me this before July, I would have said PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, absolutely. But as of lately, I think I'm kind of leaning more towards Fortnite. The community response has been better. They've been popping out a lot more updates, I think, and just, I don't know, I think the overall experience is more pleasant.
It's also free.
And it's also free, yeah, exactly. So
that is true. I have also picked Fortnite for pretty much all the same reasons. Destiny 2, they screwed up by just deciding to do the opposite of their community. PlayerUnknown has all the cheating problems, and the community seems a bit meaner. Fortnite, Epic is doing an amazing job of community interaction. They're always on the Reddit page, just talking, and even if it's not about specifically game development, they're just responding to people's comments and just having fun. And the player base seems very friendly, and they all kind of have that laid back feeling, and it just makes for a really, really good time, regardless of whether you're winning or dying the second you drop in.
Yeah.
It's a very fun, lax game.
I just want to say that I think this is a really good award to have because it's nice to have an award, kind of spotlighting those companies that do a good job at interacting with the community and listening to them. Because
exactly.
at the end of the day, that's who's buying your game, and you want to please them to some extent.
Hopefully the actual DICE award panel will recognize that.
Yeah.
Because it is commendable, when a company is so good and loyal to their fan base, it's nice to see that, and hopefully they get the recognition for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think Unknown Battlegrounds will win
just because of popularity.
Yeah. Like, it's just breaking records, and they'll just pick it.
That would not surprise me either, to be honest. Next up, we have Outstanding Achievement in Game Design with Gorogoa, Horizon Zero Dawn, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Super Mario Odyssey, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Well, my pick is going to be Legend of Zelda. But it's kind of weird because like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, I don't like, they didn't really make any significant
innovative things.
Innovative things, and besides Battle Royale, the genre.
And they weren't even the first to do that. They just made it popular.
Yeah, so I don't know. But then Legend of Zelda, it's an open world, so it's like, I don't know, open world could sometimes, seem like the developers just didn't put as much work or something, just made a world and put a story in it. So, but I don't know. I think Zelda did a good job at it. They did really good details and made it so you could always have something to do. And I don't know. I think Legend of Zelda.
All right. Awesome.
See, I'm gonna take the opposite argument there, and I'm gonna go with Battlegrounds because I feel although they weren't the first to do Battle Royale, they were the first to do it right. And Arma had Battle Royale mods, but it's the same thing with DayZ. If DayZ standalone wasn't a complete flop, I feel like that would have been on the same tier as Battlegrounds. So I'm gonna go with Battlegrounds.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point to make. I went with Breath of the Wild just because I think, like Brady said, it's challenging to make an open world game that feels very alive and always has a lot of things to do. But I think more than anything, their game design shines in their puzzles. They've got some
interesting.
They really challenge you to manipulate the game as much as you can to do these puzzles, and they almost encourage it. Use these abilities in ways that he wouldn't normally think to do them, and it's great and it works perfectly. And so I think they completely deserve to get the win for game design there. Next up, we have Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, with the nominees being Gora, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and What Remains of Edith Finch.
I'm gonna pick What Remains with Edith Finch. I actually haven't played it, but that's a game that requires a lot of direction to get the right feeling. It's like an atmospheric kind of game, so you got to get the right feeling in that, and I think you have to have good game direction to have that.
Fair enough.
So I have a question on the genre itself. So define game direction. I don't really quite.
I think of it as just the same way as with directing a movie. If they I guess Zelda is a good example to use. I said it in a podcast, I think last week, Shigeru Miyamoto designed Zelda with the intention of giving you that sense of adventure you feel when you're a kid.
Okay.
And, so that, did they properly achieve what they intended to with the game in terms of the feeling or the look, the style, the gameplay, whatever they were shooting out for?
Okay, then I guess I'll have to go with What Remains of Edith Finch as well, because I feel like it's more of a story-driven game. Really captures that kind of ambience that it's going for, and yeah, it does what it's intended to do.
For me, it was a toss up between Horizon Zero Dawn and The Legend of Zelda, because, like I said, with Legend of Zelda, that sense of adventure is very much alive in Breath of the Wild. You can go and explore any caves and fight any monsters you want, and it feels like just one big adventure, just plain and simple. There's no other way to put it, really. But then also on the flip side, with Horizon Zero Dawn, it like a lot of people wrote it off as like, well, it's just another open world, but that is true. But they, better than just about any open world game out there, they really nail the feeling of an open world and having all the objectives and things for you to do without it feeling tedious. So I gotta give them props, but nonetheless, I'm going with Breath of the Wild because I love me some Breath of the Wild. And last but certainly not least, we have our Game of the Year. The nominees are Cuphead, Horizon Zero Dawn, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Super Mario Odyssey, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
This is a tough category. So I think it's gonna kind of be, PlayerUnknown's most popular and everything, breaking records, but I don't know if it's Game of the Year worthy. It's a good game, but like I just I don't think they've done much things that are innovative.
Mm-hmm.
And then Super Mario Odyssey is really unique in what they do. Open world, you get it's just Mario. So
yep.
And then Cuphead, just another unique game, like cool art style, hand drawn. I'm okay. So I'm gonna go with Legend of Zelda. Just I think I picked out the most categories where it's in. This thing overall, a great game. It's a game changer for Nintendo and handheld consoles and just what's to come from open world and Nintendo.
Very true. Austin, what you got?
Well, I want to say Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild because it's an incredible game. Open world Zelda has been a thing everyone's wanted, or if they didn't want it, they just didn't know they wanted it. And it's really fun. It captures that adventure, like you're saying, like you're a kid again. But I gotta go with PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds just because it's sparked this new genre. You can say what you will about it. You might hate it or love it. The Battle Royale thing is here, and there's going to be a lot more games based off that model. And I'm just kind of excited to see that kind of develop into more games. But we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess first and foremost to say this is like a very weird and hard category. It is like, of course, it's the one everybody looks for, but it's like, how do you really compare all these games that are so vastly different?
Right.
They're all outstanding achievements in their own right. So it almost like comes down to a popularity contest. But I'm going with Breath of the Wild. Like Brady said, this is like we're seeing Nintendo bounce back.
Yeah, exactly.
They hit it out of the park with Breath of the Wild. They got Super Mario Odyssey, which is also nominated, and they nailed that game. The Switch is like the Nintendo comeback. We're like back in the old days, where Nintendo ruled everything. It feels like we're coming back to that, and it's nice, and it's deserved. It's Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. I think they've hit it perfectly in every single aspect of the game. Like, same as Brady, I kind of picked it in most of the categories it was nominated because I really do think it deserved all those nominations and wins. So hopefully the Academy will feel the same.
Yep.
All right, well, now that we've gotten through all of that fun stuff, we can it was intense. So many categories, many games.
So many.
But we will jump into there's been a little bit of news. D.I.C.E is obviously the big talk of the town right now. But there is some more PUBg stuff to talk about. PUBg just recently hit 30 million copies sold on PC alone. That's not including Xbox sales. Yet their player base is dropping. Me and Brady talked a bit on what we might think some of the reasons are for things for it to be dropping. There's been a lot of cheaters being banned. The mobile game, the mobile PUBg has come out.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's hard to say like specifically why it's dropping, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think banning cheating. You know, we're gonna kind of touch later, but I'll just bring it up now. How like 99% of cheaters in PUBg are from China, which is
China.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, China. But that could also be because I think the player base in China is a lot bigger than anywhere else, so obviously they'll have the most amount of cheaters. But yeah, I think it's just all these ban waves that have been happening, and just because it's been like in the millions, where people have been getting banned.
Mm-hmm.
But then it could also just be people are getting bored. Like you can only play the same game mode and map like over and over.
That is true. To touch on what you said a second ago about all the bans, I read an article that I will link as always. About 13% of PUBG's player base is banned like hacker accounts, and that number is just growing as BattleEye continues to ban people. So that's a like surprisingly high number of really, especially for a game this big that pulls in like millions of players daily.
Yeah,
that's huge. 13%.
I don't think that the bans have. I mean, it obviously is going to drop the numbers. That's hard fact. If you ban people, they're not going to be playing your game anymore. But I feel like the playability of it's dropped off. Like, I don't know if you guys have been playing it recently, but the other day I was trying to play and it took me like 20 minutes just to get into a game because the servers are just not doing good. They shit out on you all the time, and I don't think hacking's a huge deal. Personally, I've never found. Well, that's not true. I found a couple people hacking, but it's very rare. I think the biggest thing is actually getting into a game, and then of course you have Fortnite that's coming out with all these updates. So a lot of people have moved there to try it out, and I think the Battle Royale player base is kind of spread between the two, and they're going to run to the newest thing unless you keep coming out with new updates and your game's actually fun to play and you can actually get into a lobby. So I think it has a huge thing to do with that too.
Yeah, I like to see a comparison because Fortnite, it's on Epic Games Launcher and the stats aren't as public as Steam. Yeah. But somehow I'd like to see a comparison, because I don't even know what Fortnite's player base is. But a comparison between the two would be good to see.
That is true. It would be nice to see. It is hard. Like, we're able to easily get this data on PUBG because of like Steam Stats and Steam Spy, but with Fortnite, it's much more difficult because there's no like public information out like that for Epic Games. What was I gonna say? I think also, like Austin said, it's when there's a game like Fortnite, which is free, updates almost weekly. And it is almost like I think that like lighthearted vibe of it is a draw too, because like Brady said, when I play PUBG, I'm like really intense and I'm sweating and freaking out, and that's fun. That is fun in the moment, but like that can also be exhausting. Whereas like Fortnite's like, oh, let's play some games, have fun, whatever. And Fortnite's intense in its own way too, but it feels much more light, which could be a draw for the general audience. The one other thing I think that could be a possibility of it is December 21st, PUBG left early access, and that probably brought in a lot of people like me who I don't really play early access games. I think early access is kind of a scam. So I wait for games to fully release before buying and playing them, and that was the same case with PUBG. I waited for it to release and then I tried it out. But so that, I'm sure that boosted their sales big time, but a lot of those people who did that probably all fell off. Like they played it for a bit and they're like, it's fun, whatever. They kept some, but a lot of them may have just left and moved on, which made their number spike, and now we're seeing it kind of dip back and settle again.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those games I feel like you need friends for it to be more playable in the long term. Which, not to discredit anyone who goes out and plays solo or, plays with randoms. I think just the majority of people like to have a squad they can kind of count on, talk to, in like a
Oh,
Discord
you
or
brave
something.
people who play with randoms.
Yeah.
I cannot. Well, that's really about it as far as news goes this week. We ate up most of our time talking about the DICE Awards. On the next episode of the podcast, we will talk much more briefly. Just we'll go over the DICE Awards again now that they had happened. We'll talk about like who actually won each category. I'll probably just quickly run through them. We'll give a little bit of things to say here and there, but we'll just run through it real quick, just in case for any of you who don't want to know who actually wins. We will have that covered for you. But that wraps up this episode. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you Brady and Austin for joining me once again.
Yeah, of course.
And with all that said, we will see you guys next time.